Welcome, professional wrestling fans, to the PW Fan, the ultimate pro wrestling podcast created by fans for the fans for over 4 years now. This is episode 146. I am your host, collector, barber, musician, and most importantly, a professional wrestling podcaster, Talk Wrestling, Tim Gilbert.
And I'm your host, the architect of Jesus, guys, I can't talk today. I'm your host, the architect of Pro Wrestling Podcast, Andy.
I'm also host, the no selling wrestling indie fan and football lover, Jeremy.
The boys are back in town. All three of us are together. I apologize for missing last week. I had some music stuff to record. I actually have some music.
We said you did.
Yeah, I have some music stuff to record next Monday, but we'll get that all figured out. Today, we got some things to go over. Big week. Andy and I were just discussing some of the highlights through text. So, Andy, I'm going to pass it over to you. Why don't you take us through the day, and then I'll cover some of the YouTube stuff and the social media stuff at the end here.
All right, we're going to be talking about Nigel McGuinness and Bryan Danielson. Jeremy, I spelled it correctly this time.
You did. I saw it. I was like, finally.
Yeah. Spelled Bryan correctly. We're going to be talking about Bret Hart appearing on Raw, and we're also going to be talking about Roman Reigns and Smackdown debuting on USA, the USA Network, and much more. So before we get into that, Tim will go over some socials real quick for us.
Well, before we get started on today's episode, go to youtube.com/the PW Fan Pod, where we kindly ask you to comment, like, and most importantly, subscribe. And for all other social media, just search at the PW Fan. We should pop up on X, TikTok, and Instagram. I believe we're on all of those. And that kind of takes care of that. Dan, we just were talking before we started recording. Dan, who makes all of our merch, he's recovering right now from his heart surgery. He's doing well. Couple tough few days in the beginning, but he's getting through it, and it looks like he's going home soon. So glad you're doing okay, Dan. And before you know it, you'll be making us some new merch for the Pro Wrestling Tees store. All right, Andy, you want to take us away and get us started on today's episode?
Alrighty, so I'm going to start with AEW shows this week. Dynamite would open up with a video of Jon Moxley, which it looked like it was filmed after the All Out pay-per-view. I guess I should say starting with AEW, that this week of AEW was we always call it the fallout of All Out, right? Because All Out was the week before or weekend before. So this Jon Moxley video, it looked like it was filmed right after turning on Bryan Danielson at the All Out pay-per-view, where he would basically just be talking about how egos are running out of control in the company, and he's the catalyst for change, kind of, without saying the word catalyst. Isn't that a CM Punk thing?
Yeah. I did like they put some eerie music behind it, and I like how it was shot too.
Well, I will say, before we get too far into Dynamite, this week felt more about storytelling than matches.
Funny you bring that up is because did you see what Adam Copeland recently said? I don't know how true this is because I feel like we hear it every now and then about AEW, but he said they're going to be more story focused.
Oh God,
going forward. But Andy, I don't know. We've heard that before, right?
Yes. That's what I want. That's what this fan wants.
Who's writing the stories? I want answers.
Well, they're starting to do the stories now, so we'll see.
I want
people talking about.
I always say I want to be wrong. It doesn't please me to be over here being like, I don't know. I want them to be right. I want me to be wrong. Let's see. We'll find out.
We'll see.
People talking about AEW, Matt Hardy.
Here's the thing. More good wrestling on TV, like how it was in 2019 and like when AEW first started, like more of that is good. I'm all for that. We need more of that again. And I agree, like just because WWE is really good right now doesn't mean that there's not enough room for an alternative product. Just some of the stuff when I tune back over, I'm like, it's just not doing it for me. But there was stuff that I genuinely enjoyed in the beginning. even before Punk was there, they had stuff that I liked. I think if they can reharness some of that, get
Yeah.
back to where we were.
And there's not to say that, WWE won't always just stay hot too, because it does tend to swing both ways. So we'll see what happens, I guess.
We've never lived through a dark Triple H booking era right now. We've been spoiled. He was good in Black and Gold NXT. He's been good so far as the main guy for the main roster. So I mean, I don't know what it's like right now to go through a dark Triple H period, but not saying that it can't happen.
True.
Couple things actually with AEW outside of the show itself. Did anyone see what Matt Hardy was saying about the needle spot? He was not a fan.
No, what did he say
during that match? He was just saying that there's other ways to do violent stuff without bringing in a needle, especially needles are something that are
to him
associated with such negative things.
It's making my mouth feel weird just thinking about it again.
Also, apparently, I don't know how true it is, but it's making the rounds. Adam Cole and Britt Baker broke up.
I saw it too. I would say for right now, it's just a rumor. No one knows.
Yeah, we're gonna.
And also, where is Adam Cole?
Said it. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. I mean, Britt Baker's a pug, so it was only a matter of time before that they were gonna have to break up.
I hate that every time.
Andy's face every time. It's like, God damn it.
Okay, so here's the Ringside News article on Matt Hardy. It says Matt Hardy criticizes AEW for setting a bad example with syringe spot at All Out. If it would let me flip and scroll, I assume this was on his podcast. It says the thing that stood out to me the most and made me bothered me the most was the syringe.
My cat is annoying me. Let me get him situated real quick.
Oh my god! I'll read.
Is that another thing where Tim could just done it?
Yeah, didn't have to say it. What was the last time? He said he had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. You're like, could have just went.
Matt Hardy, I assume, said it on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy stream that he does. He said the thing that stood out to me the most and maybe bothered me the most was the syringe into Swerve's mouth. I just don't really know where it fell into the story context wise. It just felt like they were just pulling out a syringe because it was a bit they could do that would be violent and look graphic and gruesome. Then he would go on to say, syringes have really bad connotations with all that stuff about steroids and people using drugs back in the late 90s. I just don't think a syringe is the greatest prop to bring into a wrestling match. If you're going for shock value, there are other ways to do that without using something that carries so much negative associations. Couple more things. I didn't read this part. He said, I'm not a big advocate of unprotected chair shots anymore. We know so much more about head trauma and its effects. I can tell my mind doesn't work the way it used to 30 years ago, and that's because of the head trauma I've taken. I get that chair shots have a big impact visually, but I don't think we should be encouraging that kind of thing in this day and age. And then lastly, he would say, I remember that vividly when Terry Funk did that to Ric Flair, so in a way it was nostalgic. But if you're watching that with your family and kids, it's probably not something you want them to see. I think if AEW is aiming their product strictly at hardcore fans who enjoy that kind of thing, then fine. But if they want to appeal to families, they might want to reconsider some of these more violent moments. If you're marketing the show strictly for the sickos, then go nuts. But if you want families to be comfortable watching, some of this stuff might be a bit much. That was everything Matt Hardy said.
I can see what he's saying about their syringe stuff, and especially since was wrestling through the steroid era and all that stuff, that he got a lot of heat
People
for
taking drugs and did drugs himself.
Yeah, but I see the other part of it where it's like it's not like that anymore, and those younger wrestlers don't have that. So,
you know what, Jeremy, you're just one of the sickos.
I mean, I kind of am, because I did like that spot when Hangman was drinking his blood.
I book for the sickos.
Book for Jeremy. Yeah.
Jeremy How about a Joker Jeremy shirt, and then on the back it says "I'm a sicko," and like in kind of like
Yeah, and like the blood.
lettering. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jeremy's secretly getting paid by Tony Khan for standing up for
yeah.
AEW on this podcast.
He's our AEW affiliate.
Yeah. So does that mean you guys get paid by WWE then?
It's true. Trips actually
Oh,
emailed
yes,
me. He told me he's like, guys, I need you to shit on Dynamite weekly.
And we call him Trips. We're that close.
We're that
Yeah.
close. I say Trips.
Like, hey,
What's going
H.
on? I go, what's up, pal?
Or we call him H.
Or pal.
Or Hunter.
How we doing, pal? That's how I answer the phone when he calls.
Oh no. No.
I just had Taco Bell.
And he's like, not again.
We're not going down that route.
My stomach's starting to hurt.
It's growing.
It's
to
brewing.
a big stinky.
Might call
What-
over Johnny later.
I don't think I said stinky like that.
Send a video to Brock, Johnny.
Send it.
What's the idea for the shirt again?
It's Joker Jeremy with the bloody I'm a sicko going down
No,
the back.
No, for you guys when you do
the VMK or VKM, and then with shit dripping down the leg. And under it say, "That's good shit."
It's good shit.
Such
pal.
good shit, pal.
Such good shit.
The back just says pal.
Yeah. And that's all in like poop letters.
All right, let's
Yeah.
continue with the actual
Brown.
Dynamite show. God, let's get it together.
You're gonna have all white gear.
Oh my god, looks like you shit yourself.
You're getting all white gear.
Janelle hates it. All right, Patriarchy would officially open the show where Christian Cage would just talk about his guaranteed title shot and that he's gonna win the championship with it. It wasn't a long promo.
It is like a cash in, like Money in the Bank.
It's a contract without a briefcase.
Yeah.
Backstage, we'd have Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher, Don Callis, and Takeshita. Don Callis was trying to get Will Ospreay to team up with Kyle Fletcher in the main event, the tag team gauntlet match, to find the number one contenders for the Bucks championships. This whole time, while Takeshita's behind him, it was looking like Takeshita was getting jealous. He's just like, hey, and basically, I'm right here. And you're asking Will Ospreay to be partners with Kyle Fletcher when me and Kyle are both in the Don Callis family. So maybe we're getting something later with that. There was a backstage interview with Hangman Page. I believe he was doing it with Renee Paquette. Or Renee Young. Renee Paquette. What's her name? Is it Renee Young? Renee
No, that was
her
her WWE name. Yeah.
Renee Paquette.
Yeah.
He said he's going to find and hurt anyone who helped Swerve Strickland. After the interview, he would pass by the Dark Order, who said, I don't even know who you are. Then Jeff Jarrett would come up to him and express some disappointment. Hangman would start attacking him and then have to get separated by like Jay Lethal and their whole group.
So is Hangman just like a crazy person now? That's his like character?
I don't know. I don't care. Fuck Hangman.
He's like, I'm gonna burn your house down.
God, okay. Speaking of Hangman, what did both of you listen to Corny talk about the Swerve Hangman match?
I listened to a little
Some
bit of it. I didn't
funniest
listen to all of
shit.
it, yeah.
There's some stuff, some quotes I texted Tim. I was just like, this is so fucking funny.
Well, we all knew he
Brian
was
Lattis said, I can honestly say this is one of the most unenjoyable matches I've ever seen.
It was like so funny how much they didn't like it.
Yeah,
I think Corny called Hangman a big pussy. And there was a lot of stupid motherfuckers in it.
Stupid motherfuckers sticking the goddamn thing through your cheek. It's stupid.
Oh my god, dude. He said Paige is a goddamn big pussy. He's a gaping giant vagina.
Oh my god.
There was other ones they reviewed. I thought he was gonna like maybe Danielson, Jack Perry a little bit, but he didn't. He did not.
He does not.
He does not like the Pac and the Will Ospreay stuff. He says wrestling like that. What's he always say? It comes off as phony.
He's Cirque du Soleil.
Does he think it's like too? Yeah, like too. What's it called? Choreograph.
He says it makes them look like they're working together too much. Like it's like a partnership. Like I'll help you stand up, and then you'll catch me, and then that's like he just doesn't like it to look like it's coerced.
I feel like that is true, but like when they're very good at it, like those two, that's when like I think it's enjoyable for a lot.
I agree.
He's talking about the steel cage match,
and I think both styles work when the one that he's talking about doesn't go too far, because there are some stuff like I still don't like that spot where everybody just gathers on the outside and then you dive and then everybody catches you.
They're all standing there like, oh, we gotta wait for the guy.
He enjoyed Ospreay and MJF because it's like you got that style with the other style, and he said it worked. But yeah, he was talking about the steel cage match with Swerve and Hangman. He's just like, these guys are trying to be pretend tough guys. He's like, they're all a bunch of pussies. He's like, except for maybe Swerve. Swerve might be the only one that could do anything.
I think he
just hates Pain Man.
He likes Swerve
anymore.
That's so funny.
He used to like Swerve. He does not like them anymore after doing this.
Well, he does the same thing with Jericho and Danielson. If they do something that he hates, he's like, now I don't like them anymore either.
God. We had a really good match though on Dynamite. Sammy Guevara versus Ricochet. That was a fun match. That could have been like a pay-per-view match. The crowd was really into it. Ricochet would end up winning, but there was a lot of cool shit done. So Ricochet is continuing to rack up some wins, and I
mean, eventually it'll be him and Ospreay. So
Ospreay, but God,
I just don't know when.
With Ospreay, they're putting him in tag title matches. They're doing a lot. Darby Allin would come to the ring. Moxley had been looking for him, and they would end up having a little promo segment. Now, this whole thing doesn't really make sense to me because it's like, okay, so at Grand Slam, right, Darby and Moxley are going to fight for the title shot that Darby won in the Royal Rampage match.
Yeah.
Moxley's whole point was, you're not ready to be the champion. But it's just like, are you really going to... I don't know where it's going to go, but it's like, are you really going to take the title shot away? I read a little while ago that there was plans to make Darby champ eventually.
I think it was... They're going to take it... like, Danielson's going to lose against Darby at some point. Darby's going to be the champion then. Like, that's... I feel like
Darby's going to be the one to end Danielson's career?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to me, it's crazy because it feels like, like Punk, like all these legends like Sting, all these other people, they love Darby. So, I don't know.
So, Darby would speak for a little bit, talk about how he's always looked up to Moxley until he saw what he did to Danielson at All Out. Mox would say that he wanted to give Darby, or wanted Darby to give him the title shot he earned. Darby Allin told him that he needs to earn it, so Mox told him to put the title shot on the line. Darby Allin would accept. So, I guess they wrestled years ago.
It was like when they first...
like AEW.
Yeah, when Darby was like first signed by AEW. Also, I love how Tim's cat's like very calmly sitting with him right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just like staring off.
He's a good boy.
You can see
we had an in-ring promo from Nigel McGuinness, which was rare.
And does not care about cats.
Look at his feet.
I love Finney. But I'm also doing the show right now.
All right.
Finney, I love you, but you can wait. Nigel McGuinness would cut a angry promo in the ring. This was different to see. Was Nigel usually a heel, Tim?
Yeah, usually.
So yeah, during this segment, he would basically challenge Bryan Danielson to a match at Grand Slam. He said that Tony Khan approved it if Bryan Danielson was up or like feeling
Cleared.
better. Yeah, cleared. Duh.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be for the title. It's just going to be a match.
I thought it was for, or not for the title? I thought it was for the
I
title.
don't think so. I don't know, man. This whole part got confusing to me.
I thought it was because he was saying that Darby isn't challenging Danielson, so there needs to be a title match. I don't know. Maybe it's not.
Well, I hope it's for the title, even though Nigel won't win. But they're doing what WCW did and is giving pay-per-view matches. We've said it before on television. Why is this match not on a pay-per-view?
Dude, there's so many old interviews with Tony too.
Which one?
Tony being like
Nigel and Danielson.
I don't want to make the same
This
mistakes.
is the biggest rivalry in ROH history. One of them.
Oh yeah, I forgot that Grand Slam's not an actual pay-per-view. Yeah.
No, it's a Dynamite.
Yeah.
It's like winter is coming.
I'm
actually surprised. That was so funny when they did that. I'm actually surprised that they're doing the Arthur Ashe Stadium again. Because remember they moved it?
Mm-hmm. They do that
before?
a lot, that stadium.
Because that was like, they couldn't fill it, I think, before.
The main event, though, this week was the tag team gauntlet match. There were 9 teams: FTR, Ospreay and Fletcher, The Righteous, Undisputed Kingdom, The Acclaimed, MXM Collection, Top Flight, The Outrunners, who were just fucking over. Tim, do you know The Outrunners?
A little bit.
There's these
They're
guys
like an old
with
school.
like blonde mullets that come out like 80s wrestlers. They're wearing like Miami Vice, like
I know which
logo
dudes you're
tight.
talking about. Yeah,
And they're dude, and they like went from like jobbing to they're being shown on every show. Fans love them, dude.
Yeah.
I'm starting to love them. I'm like, let's go. They're doing like the 80s poses. Like, dude, it's sick.
That's awesome.
We'll talk about that in Collision. They got FTR to do the poses with them in the ring after the match. Yeah, Dax was doing that pose, Tim.
That was so funny. The arms.
Yeah, he was doing the on the side when you're pushing your chest. Dax was doing all that shit. And then also GYV, Grizzled Young Vets were in it. Ospreay and Fletcher would end up winning. So now Ospreay is the international champion, and then he's also now going for the titles against the Bucks with Kyle Fletcher. But that wraps up Dynamite. Like I said, a lot more storyline than matches, though we didn't talk about every match, but
yeah.
For them. Oh, I should say, on a side note, I read that starting October 16th, Raw is going to be 2 hours long. Crazy. It's never been like that. At least not in a long time. I don't know
For
when
years.
It was 2 hours. Not when I was watching.
It was 2 hours, like, when was that, Tim? Like, before 2010, but before...
Yeah, dude, and I'm so happy.
2002. 2 hours in 2002.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was 2 hours until, like... I need to look it up now.
It started at 9?
9 to 11.
Oh, it was a 9 to... So it always went to 11.
Yeah.
Raw
was...
That's why we
or SmackDown was... SmackDown was 8 to 10. Our bedtime was 10.
Yeah,
it went to... It went to the 3-hour format July 23rd, 2012.
Thank you, Jim.
So all the time before that, it was 2 hours.
Okay. That's where it messed me up, though, that it was always going to 11.
We're going to have 3 fucking hours of Raw.
And apparently, Netflix, the deal was always going to include commercials. Or ads.
They're going to have commercials on Netflix.
They're going to have ads. Well, Netflix has tiers now. You either pay premium and no ads. So if you're not paying ads, if you're not seeing ads, you're probably paying like $23 a month.
I don't want to see ads. I want my egg.
The 10 or the $9.99 Netflix right now, you're seeing ads.
What about there's a one that's, isn't it like $15 or $16?
Maybe that's ad free, and then maybe the next one up is like ad free plus.
Oh, that's the one I have.
Thing. So yeah, maybe I don't know if that's only.
I haven't seen ads, so maybe that's the one I haven't.
I had to check. And I was like, oh, apparently I have the most expensive one. Didn't even know.
Yes.
That adds up when I look at my bank account. So
Yeah, you're like, that makes sense though.
yeah. All right, let's
Yeah.
get into Collision. Jack Perry would retain the TNT Championship
So how's it
against
going?
Christopher Daniels. Against Christopher Daniels. I'm
There's
just
this
gonna
guy.
talk right through you.
There's a guy that's sorry. There's a guy that comes. There's a guy that comes to the barbershop that always talks like that, and his eyes are always closed when he talks. He's like, "So what have you guys been up to lately?" It's always flustered.
He's always flustered.
So yeah, for opening match was Jack Perry retaining the TNT Championship against Christopher Daniels. Wheeler Yuta is seen walking in to the arena, still distraught. He would have a match against what was his name, Anthony Henry, something like that.
Really, Yuta is a child of the divorce. He's gonna be distraught for a while.
But I don't know, man. The fans seem to cheer him more during this whole stuff.
The simp was
Not me. I fucking hate Wheeler Yuta. But fucking sucks.
Andy, I fucking hate Wheeler Yuta.
Seems slightly strong, but we'll go with it.
Don't like him. Don't like him. Don't like his face. You should put
And
a
he's
blue
like,
dot on
I'm glad he's distraught. I don't care about him.
It's like
Put a blue dot on his face.
and he's like, I don't like his face. Is there anything I can do about that? No. Just don't like your face.
Do what Vince wanted to do to Christian. Vince didn't like Christian's face. He wanted to put a blue dot on it.
A blue dot?
Yeah.
Right?
He said,
Isn't that the
he
story?
said he'll be the only wrestler who ever moves around has a blue dot right on his face.
I just don't like your face. He's like, well, what's that from Step Brothers? He's like, is there anything? He's like, no, it's your face.
No, it's your face.
I just really want to punch you in the face. Oh, I'm sorry. Is there anything I can do about
Like,
that?
I'm
No.
sorry. And then the main event was FTR defeating GYV. Afterwards, GYV would attack, and the Outrunners would come make the save and then do a pose off with FTR. Outrunners are sick, dude. They're sick.
It's funny to me how much you like
with
them.
They have a girl with them sometimes, and she's dressed in like an '80s like aerobics outfit.
Yeah.
It's just like bright neon colors, dude. And they wear like the fucking.
They do the Johnny Ace
Those
gimmick.
glasses.
I guess they wear like the baseball player glasses, like those like.
Yeah.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
the thick ones.
Well, there's two Johnny Ace gimmicks. There's the skateboarder one, and then there's the one where he hangs out with Vince in his hotel room. But that's
I don't think they do that one.
Johnny Ace, WWE. Well, I mean, his mullet's
it's the dudes with
not quite like
attitudes.
that. The dudes with that, yeah, but these guys are wearing tights. They're not wearing. I always forget the name. I don't like saying undies. So stupid.
Undies. They're wearing undies.
It's called undies.
Let's get into Raw.
Andy, we watch a bunch of guys in undies wrestle each other.
Every week, all oiled up.
This week is in Calgary. Calgary, Alberta,
Canada.
Opening match.
I love
8-person
Canada.
mixed tag street fight. White 6 versus American Made.
Their entrance is the best right now.
White 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gable made the White 6 look great. Nikki Cross would shine in this match. Eric Rowan would use a barricade piece as a weapon, which I've never seen before.
That was pretty cool.
Also didn't know barricade was just made up of metal stud. You just grab the metal stud.
Yeah.
If you're watching on video, everybody shame my cat. He's licking his belly on camera. Shame. Shame. All right. Back.
We had a Finn Balor promo. How'd you feel about this Finn Balor promo? Do you agree with what he's doing and why?
I liked it. He says, I'm the guy that protected your belt. Boyo.
I love when he says boyo.
He accused Priest of pushing him into the background. He would end up saying, "You made Finn Balor a sidekick. I'm nobody's sidekick."
I'm the Prince
That was
of
a good line.
Demons.
He accused Priest of screwing him out of the title against Rollins, with like the Money in the Bank briefcase. This would bring out Damian Priest, which the rest of the Judgment Day would come out. Rhea Ripley would limp her way to the ring, try to help Damian, but she would end up getting beat up. Damian, I believe, would try to cover Rhea from getting more injured, and then Jey Uso would come out to make the save.
Jey Uso and Rhea are about to be a thing.
Did they? Buddy Matthews is like, come on.
Yeah. He's like, do you have to do a storyline like this?
He's like, again? You turn
She,
into a psych. I ain't no sidekick.
Rhea posted something on her, I think, Twitter or whatever, and it was like Jay was like sleeping next to her on a plane, and she goes like, I wonder if he's dreaming of me or something like that.
He's dreaming of me. And he's like,
Make me lose my train of thought, man. I
he's
was
like,
about
I
to
don't
say
know what
something
to do
else
with that.
about this segment. I was about to say something else about this segment, and then I completely. Oh, did they announce that we're gonna get Priest versus Damian at Bad Blood yet? Did they do that during this segment?
I don't think so.
No. Balor would say, "The more you helped me up, the more you held me down. The more I helped you up." Sorry. Let's talk about this Bret Hart Gunther segment. God, this was
great.
so funny. So Calgary's own Bret the Hitman Hart would return to Raw. This guy just bounces around companies. First WWE, AEW.
He's like, whoever's in Canada, I'll go to your
He's like, who's
show.
trying to pay me?
Yeah.
Well, he's also out there to promote Survivor Series is coming to Vancouver, November.
So The Rock's going to be there.
So he starts talking about, is he? You think?
Never forget a name. Never forget a face.
He starts talking about the importance of champions, which Gunther would then come and interrupt. And he would talk about how he loved Bret, but Bret was his second favorite wrestler. And then he would admit that his favorite wrestler was none other than Bill Goldberg.
Bill Goldberg.
Oh, that was so funny.
And if y'all don't know, or you're living under a rock when it comes to wrestling stuff, Bret Hart, not a fan of Bill Goldberg. Bill Goldberg ended Bret Hart's in-ring career.
Bret Hart's favorite wrestler is Bill Goldberg.
And also the funniest thing is that Bret Hart always says Bill Goldberg. He never just says Goldberg.
Yeah.
He's like, Bill Goldberg.
He always says the full name.
He's like, Bill Goldberg is the worst wrestler ever.
He's like, I tell you what, Bill Goldberg, he's a real guy that he's always taking me out, eh?
Did you guys ever seen that promo when he's saying Bill Goldberg? And then I think it was like Mean Gene or whatever standing there. He's like, some people call him Goldberg. He's like, okay. He just keeps going and says Bill Goldberg.
You're going to call him Bill Goldberg.
Sami Zayn, though, would interrupt this segment, and he would challenge Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther would deny his challenge. A brawl would end up breaking out, and Sami Zayn would be standing tall with Bret Hart in the end. So it looks like Sami's going to be going after the title again. The whole story is that Sami's the only one to have beaten Gunther since Gunther came up from NXT. He's the only one to beat Gunther in a singles match. But that was a fun segment, seeing Bret.
And Tim, Andy asked me this last time, I think it was, but he said, do you think this is too soon for Sami and Gunther to be going at each other again?
Yes.
It's
been like 6 months since we went to Mania.
But I just don't know what else you do with them right now.
That's what I was saying, too. I was like, who else would Gunther face, really?
You got to fill in some gaps. You got to fill it in.
Yeah.
Fill it in. Drew McIntyre would make his way.
Fill it in and eat boiled chicken. All right.
I'm saying fill it in. Drew McIntyre would make his way to the ring. Adam Pearce would shortly come out, and Drew McIntyre would vow that Pearce was signing Punk's death warrant by announcing that they are going to have a third match, a rubber match, and it's going to be in hell in a cell.
Hell in a cell.
Hell in a cell. At Bad Blood.
The Stone Cold Bad Blood. Hell in a cell.
They also kind of teased a little bit, maybe a feud with Wade Barrett and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I've got some bad news.
I think
he did say that.
He did say it, yeah. He said, "Wade, I got some bad news." Finn Balor would defeat Rey Mysterio. Judgment Day is trying to build themselves up as the dominant force again. That's what I kind of got out after this Raw. They're working to do that again without Damian Priest with them. And then the main event was Jey Uso, Braun Strowman, and Pete Dunne and Ilya Dragunov in a Fatal 4-Way Intercontinental Contenders match, which all four men had won their respective matches. Braun Strowman, I believe, replaced Bronson Reed, who was out with COVID. Jey Uso would win this Fatal 4-Way and is now set to face Braun Breaker during this match. Bronson Reed would come out and take out Braun Strowman, but I think I said it earlier. I'm liking that they're using Pete Dunne a lot. Under Vince, he might have continued to get
Butch
thrown by the wayside and be Butch, but now he's getting used on NXT and on Raw weekly. So,
I know. I like him.
Slowly but surely, man.
I never gave up that.
I
never gave up hope that he was going to become something. I don't think he's even all the way there yet.
We need him to win a title so he can come out with like the title in his mouth.
Yeah, that's always so cool when he does that.
I miss his old theme song.
Dude, Andy and I both did it at the same time.
Dude, the old theme song? Hell yeah. That's not the theme song anymore, but... All right, so that's Raw. Let's wrap it up with SmackDown. This was the debut show of SmackDown on the USA Network after the Fox deal was over with. They have a new intro. I don't know why. I read... You don't like the intro of the song?
No, it does not fit at all. I like this. See, I like the song, but like it does not fit the video package or like the vibe of SmackDown. I feel like,
dude, just go back to "Beautiful People" by Marilyn Manson. Bring the fist. On the Titantron. I saw something on Facebook. It was like SmackDown bringing back the fist. I was like, pretty sure Triple H just said we're gonna dumb down the sets.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I was like, since when are they doing that? Unless they're going to Netflix and going to do that, but I don't know.
I missed the fist.
Raw is, so.
The fist was so sick.
You missed Big Show's fist?
No,
that's what it was a mold of.
Oh, was it really?
That's what it was a mold of. Yeah.
It was a mold of Big Show.
Yeah, Big Show's fist, and then well, not the actual size. They blew it up.
I knew it wasn't the actual size, Andy. Not like he holds his fist up and it's like a gigantic fist.
Remember when Andy and I's first wrestling show? You walk out, you see.
Dude, when you walk in and saw the fist, it was like, yo.
I was like, the fist. Good times.
Oh, all right. Well, SmackDown opened up strongly with Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa in a steel cage match. Probably Solo's best singles match to date.
Definitely.
First half hour was commercial free, so it was just.
It wasn't the first hour.
Nah, first half hour.
Oh.
This whole match, basically, till the end of the segment.
Oh, okay.
Commercial free, which was cool. Cody would end up winning. During the match, he would dive off the cage, hit a Cody cutter, hit.
Dude, the Cody cutter off the cage was crazy.
I thought Cody was going to do that moonsault again off the top of the cage. Remember when we did that in AEW? No one's broke his leg.
That's what I was hoping. Instead, he did a crossbody. I mean, a Cody cutter off the top of the cage would have been dope, but he bounced off the ropes.
But that would have hurt so much. Imagine like if you jumped off the back just like this, and then you have to land right on your back.
I don't know. I mean,
so
Kurt Angle
bad.
did a moonsault to the top of a steel cage and just landed on his stomach.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I
Crushing
feel like
his
Land.
dick.
His neck was thick.
Dick. Crushing his
Neck.
dick. His neck was thick. All right. Bloodline afterwards would
Rapper
scale,
Andy.
scale the cage. Dude, after that terrible rap that you had texted me, Corey sent me a picture. It came on the radio, and he was just like, "Look what came on." I was like, "God, I wish I never said."
Was it that song?
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
stupid. Afterwards, Bloodline would scale the cage. There would be a beatdown of Cody Rhodes. Roman Reigns' music would hit. He locks the cage behind him. If you remember the last time Roman was seen on SmackDown, he got taken out by the Bloodline. So he locks himself in the cage with them, takes out the Bloodline. We get a little stare down, face off, Jacob Fatu and Roman tease, which will be sick. I think it's going to happen later. And then Cody would save Roman from a beatdown. So, didn't we predict at one point that Cody and Roman would team up? Maybe I predicted.
I think you said that.
I
mean, they kind of need to.
But who else is gonna join them then? Like the Usos?
Yeah. No, it's gotta be SmackDown.
I know, but like, I feel like it'd be kind of lame if they just
KO.
have like Randy and KO.
Ramdy. Who else likes
So-
the team?
So no one
Jey
of like
Uso, or
the
Jimmy Uso's got to come back after being hurt.
yeah, but then it's like gonna be like only him and Roman, and then a bunch of other guys.
Who do you want? Sammy, Jay, Jimmy.
Yeah,
You want them to feel Usi?
yeah, yeah, I do.
Dude, Team Usi back again?
Guess we'll have to wait and see.
He didn't have it.
Meechin would defeat Piper Niven in a street fight, beat down by Chelsea Green and Piper afterwards. I want more Chelsea Green, man. I want her to be shot to the top, make her champ, or make her gimmick the hot mess happen. The words "hot mess" are in her theme song,
I know.
entrance song, but
She's the hot mess. She's wearing a dress. She's outstanding. She's here to impress.
Kevin
Is
Owens
that-
and a mystery partner versus A-Town Down Under would happen.
And he's like, anyways.
The mystery partner's name would be Ricky. Ricky.
Nikki!
Kevin Owens wanted someone specifically, but he was told that it wasn't here, so he got jobber named Ricky, who the crowd was hot for. But before the match starts, KO gets told that his partner that he wanted has shown up, and he says, "Sorry, Reggie," and gives Ricky a stunner. Obviously, that's not his name. Randy Orton would come out, and the winner would be Kevin and Randy against 8,000 Down Under.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes backstage was seen talking to Nick Aldis and does not want to involve himself with the bloodline anymore. He said, basically, that's Roman. He's done with them. Doesn't want to involve himself with any of their stuff anymore. Nia Jax, Bailey, Tiffany.
But hold on, like
Naomi.
Cody's the one who keeps calling out Solo or Jacob Fatu to him. And then he's like, you know what? I don't want to deal with them anymore.
Logic, Jeremy. This is wrestling.
You know, I'm just saying. I'm like,
Is RASSLIN. Wrestling. But yeah, Nia Jax would come out, deliver a promo about an unknown opponent for Bad Blood. Bailey would confront her about always needing Tiffany Stratton for help and say her name, and she appears. Tiffany would come out and mock Bailey. Naomi would end up joining her and set up a tag match for next week. Andrade and Carmella would finally have their 5th match in their series. And Andrade would end up winning, which I was really hoping it was gonna. I thought maybe they were going to be pushing Carmelo instead, but Andrade won the 5th in the series. So now we're getting LA Knight versus Andrade for the United States Championship. LA Knight would come out after the match. Hopefully it's going to be on the pay-per-view. They keep putting the United States. LA Knight's title run is like SmackDown matches so far.
Yeah, like speaking of
Which I
putting
guess there's only
TV
been one
matches on a
pay-per-view.
pay-per-view.
There's only been one pay-per-view he could have been on, which is Bash and
Yeah.
Beyond,
But they still need to put him on a pay-per-view, though.
The main event, though, was Nick Aldis in the ring. He has a contract. Roman Reigns would be out there, or come out there. Roman would cut a promo. I don't know if you saw the video I sent you right before the pod started, but when he's walking into the ring and the steps are in the corner before he goes up the steps, normally he would look over like this at Paul Heyman. But this time he did it, and no one was there, and he was just like, long-term storytelling, guys. Long-term storytelling.
Yeah.
Love it.
Also, I liked how when he was Nick Aldis and he Roman put his hand out.
Yeah, so he would get in the ring, he would put his hand out, and Nick Aldis would hand him the contract, and Roman would just be like, put the contract here, and then he'd be like, saying to hand in the mic. I thought he was going to say acknowledge me, which he did not. But he would say that, didn't he end up saying OTC is not staying for original tribal chief? Or it not only does, it's also the only tribal chief.
Only.
Only. So Cody Rhodes would eventually join them in the ring. Before much could happen, though, Solo and Jacob Fatu would come out. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa would attack Cody and Roman, but they were taken out. Roman Reigns would sign the contract for the tag match. And after being a little reluctant, Cody Rhodes would ink his name on the contract out as well. So we're getting Solo and Jacob Fatu versus Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns and Bad Blood, brother. And that wraps up the show. I'm going to jump the gun, Tim, and I'm going to tell the fans what I think they should watch.
Ooh.
Heels is officially on Netflix, season 1 and 2, which means hopefully Netflix picks it up for a third.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix saving the day. Fantastic show if you're a fan of wrestling. It's also just not only about wrestling. There's other stuff going on.
It's just a good show overall.
Enjoyable. It's really good. Stephen Amell.
I've never seen it, so I'd like to watch it.
You need to watch it,
yeah. It was a star show. It's very
Punk's
good.
in it. AJ's
Punk's
in
it. Nick Aldis is in it, and at one point, Punk's in it more than like those guys, but AJ Lee is in it. Bunch of people, man. Really good show.
You see Punk without any tattoos because they cover it up with his makeup.
Right. They had to cover up his whole body.
Interesting.
I forget what his name is. It's like Rabid Rick or something like that.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So watch that. Check it out. I don't know when it dropped, but I just saw that was on there, and that was like the first time it got recommended for me. So check that out. But yeah, Tim, if you want to take us out, that should do it.
Well, we appreciate you joining us on the latest episode of the PW Fan. Go watch Heels on Netflix and join us back next week for episode 147. Thanks again, and have a great week enjoying pro wrestling.